Well, hello and happy gaming, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and today we are bringing you, as promised, the Ganondorf run. Now, Ganondorf, otherwise known as Ganondorf Dragmire, otherwise known as the King of Evil, otherwise known as that guy that always seems to keep coming back for more, has had multiple different forms and incarnations and many different abilities over the years. So, there's not a whole lot as far as. Hold on. There's not a whole lot as far as actual. I forgot to change my relic. There's not a whole lot as far as actual arcana that won't be off the table, but there will be certain things that I'm looking for. Now, for starters, we're going to be starting with something that gives him gradual strength as he continues. So, Cartographer's Quill seems like the most appropriate thing. As an appropriate way of looking at it is Ganondorf, as he knew more and more about Hyrule, and decided that, yeah, I want this land for myself. It filled him with determination. In other words, he got stronger as he knew more about the land and what he wanted to do with it. So Cartographer's Quill makes sense. As far as the robe, I'm only going with the rule because Ganondorf is, a lot like Bowser, a big tough guy who can dish out a lot of damage. Now, he does it differently than Bowser, but allow me to quickly explain. Ganondorf is a character that can take a lot of punishment, and I mean a lot of punishment. I mean, like, the entirety of Hyrule Castle can just fall on the guy, and he'll be like, alright, that wasn't even my final form. So, I figure something that allows him to be tough would certainly help. And true, the 5% armor isn't much, but it's about the best representation I can get. I was gonna go with the Venture Robe because of the run speed, damage, and cooldown reduction, but I figured this made more sense for Ganondorf's overall personality. Or in this case, his physical traits. As far as the spells, the Frost Blades go along well with the idea that Ganondorf, in most of his incarnations, has a sword. In Twilight Princess, it was the Sword of the Sages. So, in other words, he basically took the holy sword that they used to banish him and said, yeah, this is my shit now. But I'm going with the Twin Frost Blades on the notion of sometimes he has two swords, like his Beast Ganon form at the end of Ocarina of Time. So we're going with that. Probably the most controversial pick is Bouncing Surge. Because, yeah, Ganondorf isn't exactly well known for his use of lightning. Or is he? In A Link to the Past, Ganon first showed up throughout the game as the wizard Agnim. And what was one of Agnim's big spells? Teleport to the top of the room and fire a lightning blast. Now, I could have also chosen to use that as Deferred Dynamo or Thundering Chain, but I figure this will probably be the most useful lightning spell I could take, and it's probably going to be the most useful later on, so I may as well take it. This is obvious. Ganondorf loves to fight with minions, so having something that lets him summon minions to help keep him safe and set up his plans, that's obvious. Chaotic Echoes. This is the one that might be a little controversial, but I'm choosing to go with it because Sierra Mist makes me burp. No, I'm choosing to go with it because Ganondorf is no stranger to using his shadow clones. Once again, we refer back to Ocarina of Time, where Ganondorf could essentially create phantom clones of himself to challenge Link. And as a matter of fact, that was one of the bosses you had to deal with. In the Forest Temple, you had to fight Phantom Ganon at the end of the temple. So that is a callback to Phantom Ganon in the idea that he has no problem summoning clones of himself to get the job done. As far as other references, another reference that we could use is the idea that throwing a lightning spear like that is an awful lot like him using his javelin or trident. And you see him actually using that trident in A Link to the Past. I believe he also has it in A Link Between Worlds, but that's not straight Ganon, that's Yuga Ganon, not quite the same thing. At least we're getting the floor with the enemies that resist most of my stuff out of the way first. As far as other things that we could possibly be looking for, anything that... Oh, hello. Just immediate. Yeah! Alright, so we've got the good swords now. There we go. That's the sort of chaos that we like to sow. Ooh, Sidewinder's badge. Perfect. Gives those swords a little bit more oomph. And that's perfect for a guy that... And that's another piece of evidence we can throw into the pot is his incarnation in Hyrule Warriors used twin swords. And that might not be the most canon Zelda game, especially since the villain was Big Tits McGee, but... I mean, it was still Ganon. He's still him. I think the inspiration for him using the big twin swords was taken from other games where he had things like, you know, like the weapon that he uses at the end of Wind Waker. And I don't remember if that was twin swords or just a single sword. I know at the end of Twilight Princess it was the Sword of the Sages. But was it twin swords in Wind Waker or was it one sword? It's been a while since I've cleared Wind Waker, I sadly can't remember. Oh, that didn't work. That was just bad aim. Damn Demos Knights never doing what I asked them to do. Sir, I'm pretty sure they're sentries, not knights. Ah, that would explain a few things. There you go, just like Ganon sending his minions off to conquer Hyrule. Now, one of the things that is very true of Ganon, I don't know if anyone else is going to agree with me on this, is unlike Bowser, Ganon was never really made to be a very sympathetic character. There are times in which they kind of tried. I'm making out the idea that his society is almost all women is one thing, but not even all of them necessarily agreed with him. And by the time Breath of the Wild came out, it's not that they had forgotten that point. It's just that they weren't any longer affiliated with Ganon and his craziness. But I mean, yeah, being the only male in 100 years born to a society of Amazon warriors, yeah, I can see where that would get you some clout and tail. So I mean, yeah, he's got every right in the world to be confident, but I'm just not sure if he has any right in the world to just be a douchebag. And that's the thing. Maybe someone else knows a little bit more, but thanks, guys. But I just don't know if they ever tried to make him out to be a sympathetic villain, or if he was just Captain Douchebag of the Sea of Sand. But yeah, unlike Bowser, Ganondorf was very rarely made out to be a sympathetic villain. Bowser, I mean, they didn't really work with him too much until later. Give me that Sidewinder badge. But it's not that they didn't work with him, it just took a while. And the first time you saw any sign of that was, I'm going to take this, and oh wait, but I'm not going to be able to give it to Dr. Song because... Okay, can I can't swap it down either. Crap, I guess I'm just stuck with an axe. That's the thing, I don't want to give up my bouncing surge, so I guess I'm just stuck with this axe. Which, if I had to justify it, I mean, Lizalfos and the Dairas, they use axes, so that's kind of like Ganondorf. I mean, the closest thing I can think of is the red Dairas from The Adventure of Link. They like to throw axes. For way the fuck more damage than is necessary, I might add. There we go. All those shadows that I can summon. Oh man. It's a shadow festival up in here. And whereas, yeah, I could have started with the pop-up primer, that doesn't really... It's not really a Ganondorf thing. He's not all about summoning minions. Ganondorf is one of those guys that doesn't mind getting his hands dirty, so... Whereas he has minions, I didn't think that should be the primary focus of the build. Oh, you bastard. Yay! Alright, I see a Bouncing Surge upgrade. And I also see Tracer Barrage. So, here's the thing. I'm probably going to end up buying Tracer Barrage. And, again, there may be the thought of, well, Ganondorf doesn't really use fire, does he? I mean, that's not really his thing. He's more about dark energy and just straight-up energy blasts. Especially since there's nothing here I actually want. But here's the thing, though. You're wrong. Ganon definitely uses fire. Again, we defer back to A Link to the Past, where one of Ganondorf's main attacks, and it's in his second phase, I might add, so I know what I'm talking about, is to... Hold on, I have to not die. Is to spin his trident around and summon fire bats. So, no, it's not uncommon for him to use fire. And I'm contemplating the Strongman's Hammer, because... And Ganondorf is one of those creatures that kind of seems to live or die by his strength. And I don't necessarily mean physical strength either. I remind you, we are talking about the wielder of the Triforce of Power here. This is a guy who absolutely loves being large and in charge. There we go. Make effective use of that rock-solid tomahawk, as long as I have it. And, you know, the inspiration for that one is maybe a little iffy, but, I mean, I'm using it. Okay, so, yeah, that was a dirt move on my behalf. Eat my spear! There we go. We're going to take care of that, and we're not going to comment on how that sounded. But Dark Sage, you said cool it. Come, my minions! Okay, give me that. That slightly increases all damage dealt. You know what? I'm down for that. Okay, I'm not taking that. Now, of all of the Cabbie's candy items, the citrus candy is the one that I like the least because it tends to not... It throws out a minimally charged ball lightning, which it's fine. It's supposed to throw out an elemental, like shock of some kind. My problem is that it's too powerful of a shock. By the way, yes, I am taking Strongman's Hammer. That seems to be a very easy call to make, considering that we are dealing with the holder of the Triforce power here. And yes, it's going to make my cooldowns that much worse, but in exchange, I think the power gain is definitely worth it. I liked it when I had it. Ganondorf is not known for his use of water. That having been said, I can still kind of justify Tidal Blast. Mostly I'm thinking of the Great Sea or the enemy Morpha. So, to me, and I might be wrong about this, and I am taking Tracer Barrage, by the way. But to me, that demonstrates that he has at least some willingness to control water. Is this relic or... Yeah, we'll take that. We'll be spending money on relics later. But to me, that shows that he has at least some willingness and ability to control water. It also goes right along with his, you know, hit big, hit hard. No! There we go. Working out nicely. Seismic entry is not a Ganon thing, so we'll leave that be. Oh, that's some good Sierra Mist. Oh, yeah. Sucker. So now we've got two things that are increasing my power for just basically for existing. Yay, Tomahawk! And I see the helpful fairy there, but I think what I'm probably actually going to aim for is Pazu's favorite hat. This playing right into the idea that Ganon just seems to never actually die. And even in Breath of the Wild, where he basically just exists as, you know, ugly smoke, I mean, it's still Ganon. Make no mistake about it, it's still Mr. Big Bad himself. It's just now he's taken on the physical form of, you know, Hell Smoke. I actually kind of don't want to I don't really want to upgrade Rock Solid Tomahawk. Oh, and so long as we're talking about Breath of the Wild, that's the perfect excuse to talk about how Ganon can actually control water. Water Blight Ganon. Aha! We figured it out. There's also Thunder Blight Ganon, so... Yeah, Ganon is no stranger to... Why would you give that to me when I don't need it? Yeah, we're not even going to the living courtyard, and the game is like, here, we'll actually give you this now. He's like, guys, I don't need this now. What are you trying to do to me? And if you're trying to make me question life decisions, joke's on you. I do that every day. And yeah, more power. So yeah, we're a little slow now. But that extra 10% is going to help, not to mention everything else is kind of slowly going up. That's up to almost 11% now. Plus the 10% that we started with. Yeah, there will be some good damage being dealt by the time this run is over. We're going north. Going north to Canada. Nice. Is that a one-shot? Damn. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna be getting pretty stupid powerful by the time this run is over. Wait, have I mentioned that I hate elemental summoners? Yeah, only every moment of the day, sir. Alright, just wanted to make sure. I didn't want that point to be lost in translation. How did you jump past me? Like, are enemies getting smart to the point where they can lead their shots, or am I just an idiot? Alright, so we are going to get Pazu's favorite hat for that, you know, I am the Undying Beast. And even though he probably doesn't get along well with fairies, you know what? He's from a land with fairies, so you know what? It represents Hyrule, so good enough. Even if the fairies don't like him, hey, they're representative. Ward! We have wards! Wards for every day of the week. But I'm not going to take them because that kind of slows down the build that I have going on. And yes, I know, I've learned that wards are useful, don't worry. I just don't think they're useful for this run. There we go. Add the slow effect. Alright, that's nice and oppressive. That's a Ganondorf thing. By the way, for those of you wondering where I learned Ganondorf's last name from, I'm actually not 100% sure where I first heard it. I want to say that it's probably in the Hyrule Historia, but I don't know. And seeing as I don't have the Hyrule Historia, I can't actually verify that. So, unfortunately, you're just going to have to take my word for it. I know that's not the greatest way to vet information, but the damage is getting insane. But I mean, what else would you expect from the ruler of the Triforce of Power? Or holder of the Triforce of Power, I should say. And we're not dealing with Captain Normal Guy here. We're talking about an undying threat to a magical kingdom. You wouldn't expect him to just be like, "Hi, I'm a delivery driver for Devani's." No, you expect him to be like, "Aha! Face my might and tremble, mortal." You know, it's very above average. That's not. solid tomahawk doing 26? Christ, never thought I'd see the day. So as long as we're talking about Breath of the Wild and Ganon, he essentially has 5 different forms in that game. He's got Fire Blight Ganon, Water Blight Ganon, Wind Blight Ganon, and Thunder Blight Ganon, which automatically gives him precedence to use just about any spell in this game. And then to cover the one element that we didn't mention, which is Wind. Well, I mean, okay, so Vati isn't Ganon, but there you go. So now I need to think, was there ever a time when Ganon used wind-based magic? And you could argue that he has the ability to hover and fly, so maybe that's... But no, you can do that with all sorts of magic other than just wind-based magic. You don't, that's not the only element that can produce flight. So, let me continue to think. Was Vati being controlled by Ganon? Was that ever a thing? Because that would kind of give him access to wind. And one could also argue it's the Triforce of Power. He can probably do whatever he wants with it. And maybe, but that's something that I more so attribute, like just having access to all-encompassing magic. That's kind of what I attribute to Princess Zelda. There you go, 3-hit combo. Destruction. No, I suppose since I'm including things like the Daira's Axe, you could also say that certain enemies that have access to wind would count towards that, but that's not necessarily what I'm getting at right now. So could I use wind? Yeah, if I think hard enough about an enemy that uses wind, like the Peahats use the wind under their flower petal blades to gain lift and get into the air that way. Yeah, it's a stretch, but hey, it's a thing. Okay, let's level up for Tracer Barrage. That's good. I guess we'll take the level up for Rock Solid Tomahawk. You have anything good? Don't need that. Take out boxes, maybe. And what does this do? Well, since that has the capability of reducing cooldowns, we're going to take that to try to offset Strongman's Hammer just a little bit. How are we doing? So that's up to almost 16%, which is great. That's up to 25.5, plus 10% from that. That's 40, 50. We're at plus 60% damage so far. We're almost up to Beast Ganon levels of strength. Oh my goodness, I feel remarkably powerful right now. Tweet. Yeah, one hit for 112. That is not bad at all. She's already using her signature. My goodness. Alright, what do we got? Arc Sphere. I mean, yeah, Ganon can use lightning, but I already have a run that's pretty good and focused around physical, just big single hits, so, you know, I'm solid on that one. And it's because of that that even though I have Tracer Barrage leveled up, I'm probably going to stick with Tidal Blast. If I think about it, it's got stronger single hit damage, and if I manage to level it up properly, then it'll also give me a shield? Yeah, I think Tidal Blast is where it's at. Boy, we found the boss remarkably fast. Oh, it's another present. Someone's trying to get on Ganondorf's good side. Alright, so you know, even though I said I didn't care to start with the pop-up primer, it's still there. Oh, but it doesn't affect them anymore. Crap. Well, I mean, I'm still gonna hold on to it. If we run into Dragmire the Collector, then I can give it to him. But as is, eh. Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks. Appreciate that. Since when did I tell you you could have a day off? Especially since you're magically conjured phantoms. Oh, hey, speaking of Dragmire the Collector. Alright, so we'll drop that. Drop that. We're not dropping Pazu's favorite hat. And I'm not gonna lie, there's a good chance that I won't need it, but hey, it's nice to have, and plus, who doesn't love a Napoleon hat? Come on now. Then we'll take Yuna's storybook and Vampire's cookbook. Yes, I know Ganondorf can summon minions. He's got lots of them, but right now I'm trying to focus on Ganondorf's strengths by themselves, and it's hard to do that when all you're doing is summoning minions. There we go. Alright. So that frees up a couple of relic slots that we could use for something different. Yes, I can feel the power surging through me. And see, that's another reason why I'm not too worried about taking Strongman's hammers, because Chaotic Echoes, now that I know about its advanced functionality, will just allow me to smash past things. So even while a bunch of my spells are on cooldown, I can still use Chaotic Echoes to get damage done while everything is on cooldown. Same with my basic. And because the Chaotic Echo starts with a base damage that's in double digits, the damage ups that I've been getting are affecting it quite a bit. And hey, look at that! Just to cement that whole tough guy thing. Alright, so let's look at this logically. Could I have come in here with the Venture Robe? Absolutely I could have. I probably would be doing just as well, if not a little bit better, because I'd also have cooldown reductions and movement speed bonuses. But am I sad that I came in here with the rule rope? Not at all. I think all things considered, considering the theme that I'm going for, this was a fine choice. The strength. And we'll also sell the rubber raincoat. No, not those, not those. Damn it. I saw the wrong thing! At least I got my memory chainmail back, but still, now I feel extra stupid. You know what, I'll take that, just to make myself feel better. It's like eating a cake when you're depressed. You know you shouldn't, but at the same time, it makes you feel just a little bit better, and it makes it all worthwhile. So now we're back to all of my spells being on long cooldown, but honestly, that's considered the strength that I'm hitting with right now. I wouldn't call that a problem. I also kind of went out of my way to share with you my criteria for whether or not a damage up is the way you should go, or critical attack up is the way you should go. If your spell can hit for double-digit damage, like basically 10 or higher, all of those damage ups will be worth quite a bit. And if you have a spell with a base damage of like 25 or higher, every about 10, like 5 to 10% you can get will be huge. There you go, dash attack only, look at that. Yes, you will improve my armor. Or you will die. Actually, if there's one villain trope that Ganondorf doesn't seem to embody, he's not normally the sort of guy to kill his own minions. Now, I'm sure some admirable one of you out there will point out times in which he has killed his own minions, but I can't remember any. I mean, maybe Zant, but I mean, by the time in that game you actually see Ganondorf, Zant has already pretty much worn out his welcome. God, I wish that thing actually worked. So I will take you. And now we have a full suite of Arcana. You know, Dark Sage, you could have taken the Hunter's Stiletto. Yes, but I don't have a lot of things that are dropping status effects. Oh wait, slow. Never mind, that would have been a better idea. Sorry, I oftentimes forget that I have a status effect that actually lasts a while. But considering the point in the game that I'm at, and the idea that we're going up against Sura soon, who can't even be affected by status effects in the first place, I think we still made the right choice taking the Amulet of Sundering. God. I'm actually impressed with the damage that Rock Solid Tomahawk is doing. That's a first. Smash and stomp everything in your way. Take those under your wing who are willing to accept your rule. Crush all those who oppose you. Doing 26 per hit on a signature charge. Oh my goodness. And you know, for a second I was thinking, okay, maybe I can use Distortion Beam because that's definitely a show of power. But then I was like, Ganondorf doesn't use lasers. Counter-argument, Guardians. And you can say, yeah, but Ganondorf isn't a Guardian himself. He doesn't directly control those. Counter-argument, he himself went in to corrupt all of the divine beasts and turned the Guardians against people. I'm pretty sure that he's directly controlling the Guardians. That means that this man can fire lasers if he wants to. And you know, when you can fire a laser that powerful, why the hell wouldn't you want to? So yes, I could have used distortion lasers. Oops. Oh well. Be honest with me though, does it look like I need to be firing distortion lasers? I think the answer is pretty self-evident. Mr. Dragmire has made it perfectly clear that he's taken over Hyrule, or at least the Chaos Trials, and he's not taken no for a goddamn answer. Oh, seriously, she started that attack right on top of me. I had no choice. My fate is sealed. I have no choice. Well, that didn't work out very well. Come on, there we go. Damn you, frame data! You're getting in the way of my run! But you know what's not getting in the way of my run? My controller acting stupid. That's right. I've just decided to play with it plugged in. That way, I get the best of proper reactivity and a good D-pad. Although, as long as we're having a little bit of discussion time about things, I should ask, what is everyone's feelings on Zelda Breath of the Wild? Because I know there are some people that absolutely love the game, and I'm a dumbass. And there are some people that think it's overrated. I'm just kind of curious as to where my audience falls on that spectrum. And I won't be upset with anyone for their answers. I'm not that kind of strange person. Your opinions are yours and yours alone. I'm just curious. Said, I love Breath of the Wild, but I will also openly admit to it being a game large enough and with enough both launch and post-launch content to it that I actually haven't beaten it yet. Or at least I haven't 100%ed the game. And that is on my list of things to do. Even the Korok seeds? Look, there are some things that are fun to do and some things that are just a waste of time in life, and that's a waste of time in life. And yet there's a part of me that keeps thinking, gosh, I'd really like to get that done just to say that I've gotten it done. But I mean, I'm not sure if I want to spend, a month of my life doing that. Assuming that it takes a month, I don't know, I've never bothered trying. Am I gonna 2-cycle Sura? Yay, we 2-cycled Sura! Kind of. It's like a 2.1, but that's still pretty good. That's a win in my book, and apparently in the game's book as well, so... There you go, Ganondorf Dragmire. I, for one, welcome my new Gerudo Lord and Savior. I hope you do too, because otherwise you're probably just gonna get your head smashed. Just saying. Alright, so that is that. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, the new poll for the next 2 theme runs is up and running. It is Blizzard's Diablo franchise versus Van Ripper's Helltaker. Do you want to see Diablo the Lord of Terror or Lucifer, the CEO of Hell, run through the Chaos Trials next? Hit up the poll, let me know, and by all means, drop me a like, leave me a comment, do all that super fun stuff to help me get noticed and recognized. I appreciate all of you so much for supporting me and spending your time with me. It really means a lot to me, it does. I know I say it a lot, but it's because I absolutely mean it. Thank you guys very much for spending time with me. It makes me feel good, man. And I will see you guys in another video. My name is Darksage Walker. I'll be seeing you.